Precision of measuring equipment is. Here the options are the closeness with which a measurement can be read directly from a measuring instrument. B is a measure of how close the reading is to the true size. C, the difference between the measured value and actual value. And here the D, the capability to indicate the same reading again and again for a given measured value. Here precision is nothing but the capability to indicate the same reading again and again for a given measured value. And so here the option D is the right answer. Schedule technique. Here the options are charts and boards, priority decision rules, mathematical programming methods. So all of these are the scheduling techniques. So here the correct option is D. D is the right answer. Statement. In PET, the activity times are proportional to the amount of resources allotted to them. In CPM, the activity times are proportional to the amount of resources allotted to them. In PET, the events starting or completion depends on the amount of resources allotted to them. And the option D is both B and C. So here the right answer is B. In CPM, the activity times are proportional to the amount of resources allotted to them. Welding joint is due to. Here the options are wrong size of electrode, poor base metal, high welding speed, low welding speed. But porosity of welding joint is due to the poor base metal. The option B is the right answer. Used abrasive in USM is. Here the options are silicon carbide, corundum, zinc oxide and silicon oxide, and in the correct answer is A, silicon carbide. It is a question of type assertion and reason. So here the assertion is cold working of metals results in increase of strength and hardness, and the reason for this assertion is given as cold working reduces the total number of dislocations per unit volume of material. So the given assertion is right. In cold working of the metals, there is an increase of strength and hardness, but in the given reason, the cold working, there is no proof to it cannot reduce the number of dislocations per unit volume of the material. So that here the reason is wrong and assertion is right. So that here A is true but R is false, and in the answer the correct answer is C. C is the right answer.
They have given three equations: 4x plus z is equal to 5, x plus 2y plus 3z is equals to 1, and minus 3z minus y is equals to 3. We have to find the values of u23 and l33 by using LU decomposition method. Now, the given equations can be written as Ax is equals to B, that is nothing but converting the linear equations into matrix form, and this matrix A can be written in LU decomposition form. So L into U. L is nothing but the lower triangle matrix, whereas U is nothing but the upper triangular matrix. Now, if I substitute the value of L, which is L1100, then L21, L220, L31, L32 and L33. Similarly, the next one will be 1, mu12, or it is nothing but U12, U13, then 01, U23, 001. Now, this matrix, these two, product of these two matrices is nothing but A, which is 4, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 0, minus 1 and minus 4. Now, let us multiply the LHS and equate the values to RHS. So, if I consider the first row and first column, the values of L11 will be 1. Then the value of L21 will be 1. Similarly, L31 will be 0. And also L11 U12 equals to 0. And L21 U12 plus L22 will be equals to 2. L22 is equals to 2, since the value of U12 is nothing but 0. Now, this is nothing but just multiplying and simplification. Next, if you go for the second, then L11 U13 will be 1. So U13 is nothing but 1 by 4, since the value of L11 is 4. Now, L21 U13 plus L22 U23 is nothing but 3, whereas U23 is nothing but 11 by 8, because L21 is 0, L21 is 1, and substitute the value of L31, which is 0. And if you simplify, it is U23 equal to 1 by 8, 11 by 8, which is 1.375. Similarly, if you simplify, you will get the value of L33 as minus 2.625. Then option C is correct. partial differential equation is, we have to find the partial differential equation of the function z is equals to f of x square minus y square. Now let us differentiate this z with respect to x partially. So it is dou z by dou x. Differentiation of f of x is f dash of x, and the differentiation of x square minus y square is 2x. Let it be some equation 1. Now we'll differentiate z with respect to y partially. So it is f dash of x square minus y square into differentiation is minus 2y, which is equation 2. Now we have 2x here and f dash of function. We have 2y here and f dash of function. If I multiply y to the first function and x to the second function and add, then the result will be 0. So it is y into dou z by dou x plus x into dou z by dou y will be equals to 0, which is nothing but option B. This problem it is given that 4 dice are thrown. We have to find the probability that at least one of the dice shows multiples of 3. Now, so totally 4 dice are thrown and we need multiples of 3. Now, probability of getting a multiple of 3. Now, there will be 2 multiples of 3, that is 3 and 6. So, there are 2 choices out of 6. So, which is 1 by 3. Now, probability of non-multiple of 3, which is nothing but 2 by 3. Now, let this value be some p, let this value be some q. Now, we need probability that at least one of them shows multiples of 3. It is easy to find by 1 minus probability of no multiples of 3. Now, we'll use binomial distribution to solve this problem. 1 minus, so totally there are 4 throws, that means n is 4c, and we need no multiples of 3, that means 0 multiples of 3 into, now probability of getting multiples of 3, 1 by 3 to the power of how many? We need 0, we don't need any multiples of 3, 0 into 2 by 3. How many we need multiples of, non-multiples of 3? All of them must be non-multiples of 3 out of 4 throws, so it will be 4. So which will be 1 minus 1 into 2 by 3 raised to the power of 4. If you simplify, it will be 1 minus 0.198, which is nothing but 0.802. So the option is C. We have to find the order of the differential equation whose general solution is given as y is equals to c1 plus c2 into cos of x plus c3 minus c4 into e power x plus c5. Now, it is purely based on the number of constants which are involved in the equation. Now, we cannot say the number of constants as c1, c2, c3, c4 and c5 as 5. Now, if you are considering c1, c2, c3, c4 and c5 as the constants, then the answer will be 5, because if there are 5 constants, then the order of the differential equation will be 5, because we have to differentiate 5 times. But instead of coming to a conclusion, first simplify the given expression. So it will be c1 plus c2 into, if I write this, cos x cos c3 minus sin x sin c3 minus c4 into e power c5 into e power x, which can be written as c1 cos x cos c3 plus c2 cos x cos c3 minus c1 plus c2 into sin x sin c3 minus c4 into e power c5 into e power x. This can be written as c1 cos c3 plus c2 cos c3 into cos x minus, similarly this can be written as c1 into sin c3 plus c2 into sin c3 into sin x minus c4 into e power c5 into e power x. Now, all these values are constants, even this is a constant, even this is a constant. So I can write this as a cos x minus b sin x plus c e power x, plus c or minus c, that makes no difference. Now, there are totally 3 constants involved here, a, b and c. Now, if there are 3 constants, we need to differentiate 3 times. If you are differentiating 3 times, its order will be 3. Then the